Hi, folks. It's me, Christiana Gaudet. Today is March 4th, 2020. You know what they say about March 4th? It's a soldier's favorite day. We are just a couple of minutes away from beginning Global Tarot Circle. If you're watching an archive, either on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so very much. This is being recorded live on Facebook, 7 p.m., March 4th, 2020. So, it's so nice to see you here. People are starting to come into the room. I'm happy to see you. Let us know who you are, where you are, and if you've got your tarot deck with you, what deck you happen to be working with. Mark is here, Deirdre is here, Jan is here, Anna Luisa is here, Nilsa, nice to see you. Neil is here. Hi, glad that you're all here. Thanks so much for being here. We do this once a month. Where we gather together from all over the world. That's why we're called Global Tarot Circle. And we do this to share readings and also some tarot information. David, nice to see you. Joanne, glad you're here. Sonia, glad you're here. Lori, nice to see you. Okay, so Leisha, glad you're here. So here's how this works. Hey, Kristen, you said you'd be here and you are. Brenda Nicholas, nice to see you. All right, so here's how this works. For the first half hour, we're going to be here for an hour. For the first half hour, we share readings. Hey, TK, nice to see you. Okay, so we're going to share readings, and this is how this works. Maria, glad you're here. If you have a burning question, and a burning question can be a couple of different things. It could be a question about tarot. Maybe you've done a reading you didn't understand. Maybe you don't know how to interpret a particular card. Kimberly, glad you're here. So it could be a question about tarot. It could also be a question for a reading. Susan, glad you're here. Cheryl, nice to see you. So, burning question. That could be a question about tarot, about a deck, about a card, anything at all. It could also be a question for a reading. If you would like us to read for you, we usually spend the first half hour doing these readings, and this is how it works. I will start. I will pull one card and interpret it. And anyone else who wants to participate, Marion, nice to see you all the way from Scotland. Anyone else who wants to participate, you will also pull a card. You will put the name of the person you're reading for, the card that you pulled, and your interpretation. Now, if I read for you folks, then the next thing you need to do is read through the comments so you can get the rest of your reading. You're getting a multi-card reading from readers across the world. Now, those of you here who are readers, this is a great opportunity to practice. I will move pretty quickly. And it's a lot quicker to talk than to type. So if you can't keep up, that's okay. Try to do every other one, or just do the ones that you are, feel most called to do. So now is the time for questions. These can be questions for readings or questions about tarot. In the second half hour, we do sort of an informal tarot workshop where we will handle some topics. I've got a list right here, some topics that people have been interested in. Got all kinds of things on my desk here. And I see the questions are already coming in. Okay, very good. And so those of you who have your cards, get shuffling. It is time to read. Hey, Linda B., nice to see you. Okay, Suzanne, you'll be the first. What does the universe want Suzanne to know? Okay, and that's a great way for those of you who are afraid of general readings. Hey, Pam Hartley, nice to see you. For those of you who are afraid of general readings, a general reading really is just answering the question, what does the universe want me to know? And if you go to the cards that way, it can be very, very easy. Okay, so for Suzanne, and if you'd like to read for Suzanne, go ahead and put her name, Suzanne, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Okay, what does the universe want Suzanne to know? Four of Swords reversed. So this could be a couple of things, Suzanne. It could be that you are not meditating enough, that you are not taking enough time to rest, to retreat, to relax, and to look within. It could be commenting that your life is very busy right now and you're going to have to work on managing that. Let's see what else comes up for other people. Okay, Nilsa, I would like to know what the universe wants me to know about my current relationship. If you would like to read about Nilsa's relationship, please put her name, Nilsa, Nilsa, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Okay, Nilsa, what does the universe want you to know about your relationship? Page of Cups reversed. The person you are with may be very emotionally immature and may not know how to express his feelings. And if you're going to be involved with him, you need to know this about him. He may not change. He may not improve. You're going to have to recognize these deficits and work with them. That's what I see. Let's see what other people have to say. Hey, Randy, nice to see you. Okay, Christine Claire, nice to see you. Glad you're here. Okay, so Verna. Okay, so these are the sorts of questions. This is a teachable moment. These are the sorts of questions that I think are very hard to deal with. Please, can you tell me about the situation with Jay? So that's such an interesting question because it doesn't really ask anything, and I'm okay with a general question, just what should I know? But the situation with Jay, what is a situation? Does the universe feel that there's a situation here? What does this mean? And who is Jay? Is Jay male? Is Jay female? Is this a family member? Is this a love relationship? I feel like these kinds of questions are really difficult to deal with. So, how do you handle it? If someone was sitting in front of me, I would really want to get a better formed question. But since we don't have that, I think the only thing to do is to say, okay, let's see what we get. What about the situation with Jay? And look at it and see what you get. But, when we talk about questions, the more specific the question is, I think the more valuable the answer will be. But let's see how we go. If you would like to read for Verna, go ahead and put her name, Verna, Verna, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What about the situation with Jay? Ace of Swords reversed. I can tell you right now, someone is not telling the truth. I don't know if that is Jay or some other person involved with Jay, but I can tell you that honesty is not happening here. Okay, Deirdre. What does the universe want Deirdre to know? If you would like to read for Deirdre, go ahead and put her name, Deirdre. The name of the card you got and your interpretation. And remember, if I read for you, then you want to read through the comments and see what other people say. That way you get a free, a full, well, it is free too, but a full reading. Okay, so Deirdre, what does the universe want Deirdre to know? Two of Cups reversed. I think that's a self-esteem issue, my friend. It could be that things in your love life have not been going the way you wanted them to, and that can be very difficult. But I think this is also about loving yourself. And remember, folks, if you are reading for someone, put the name of the person you're reading for. We have a lot of readings going on. If you just tell us the card, we're not going to know who it's for. Okay. Kristen, burning question. Family vacation scheduled this month in Hawaii. Will my family from Japan be able to join us? Or will they not be allowed to move to move between countries due to the coronavirus crisis? Good question. So if you'd like to read for Kristen, go ahead and put her name in. Hey, Lee, nice to see you. Go ahead and put her name in, Kristen, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Will her family be able to join her on this family vacation? I get strength. I'm going to say yes. I think it'll be fine, and you'll have a great time. Okay. For Jan Brewington, how does it look for me with a new guy named James? Well, first of all, so great that you found a new guy. Let's take a look and see what we see. What do you see for Jan and James? Barbara, nice to see you here. Okay, let's take a look and see. If you'd like to read for Jan, go ahead and put her name, Jan, Jan, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. And thank you guys so much. I see a lot of people doing readings. Thank you so much for participating in this global tarot circle. What fun, right? Okay, so Jan, how does it look with James for Jan? Ooh, Page of Wands reversed. Man, I was really hoping for something a little bit better here. You have to be careful. He may not be the world's most mature person, and there may be some communication issues. So you try to be a good communicator here, and we'll see what happens. Let's see what the other cards say. Kathy, nice to see you here. Pam Hartley, my old friend. Not that you're old, but we've been friends for a long time. That's what I mean. Okay. Is the move I'm planning on making a good move? If you'd like to read for Pam, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card you got in your interpretation. Is this a good move that she's planning? What do you think? The Hermit. It may be arduous, and there may be ways in which you will be lonely, but it does seem like a good journey and a good move. Hey, Cindy, nice to see you. Okay, Sonia, is the future looking better for my family? If you would like to read for Sonia, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do we see? Is the future looking better for the family? So again, this is a tough question, because it makes the assumption that things have been sucking for the family. If I were sitting at a table and had more time, I'd want to pull a card for, well, how's it been? How is it now? What do you have to do to make it better? That's what I would really want to do with a question like that. But, let's go ahead and just pull a card and see. If you'd like to read for Sonia, put her name, Sonia, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Are things going to get better? Well, 10 of Swords. So that answers my question. Things have been really difficult. But the great thing about the 10 of Swords is it doesn't really get worse from here. So de facto, that kind of means it'll get better, but it may take some time, and there may be a lot of healing that you need to do here. Kimberly, would I be happier if I moved away from Philadelphia? And if yes, any indication where to go? Okay, if you would like to read for Kimberly, go ahead and put her name, Kimberly, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Would she be happier if she left Philly? Any idea where maybe she should go? Let's take a look. The 9 of Cups. So the 9 of Cups, like if we're going to answer that question, would you be happier? The 9 of Cups would definitely say yes. And because it's cups, I'm going to say a couple of things. You might be better on the shore near water, or you might be better going west, because water's the west. Okay. Okay. Maria, am I going to be happy with my fiance when we marry? If you'd like to read for her, go ahead and put her name, Maria, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. And I see so many people here doing readings. Thank you guys so much for participating. That's really what makes this such a great monthly event. Okay, what do we see? The Two of Wands reversed. I think the problem here, Maria, is I feel like the two of you have not discussed what kind of life you want together, how that's going to work. I feel like you're not necessarily on the same page. And so I think there needs to be much more communication, much more conversation. Okay, Linda B. My brother and sister-in-law split up. Me and my brother don't talk anymore, but I do hope he's okay. Do you think he'll be okay? Okay, so this is a great teachable moment. This is what they call a third-party reading, where we are actually going to do a reading for someone who is not here and is not given their permission to be read. Now, there are tarotists who shy away from this, who feel that there may be an ethical question there. I believe that if the question is he okay? We're asking with love, we're asking with concern for the person. I think it's perfectly okay. So, that's up to you. We all have our own ethical ways of doing things. We all have our own moral compass, if you will. So if you'd like to read for Linda, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. How is the brother doing? Is he going to be okay here? Page of Pentacles. He'll be okay. He'll be grounded. He's not the world's most mature person. We've been getting a lot of those pages for adult men here today. And you know what that says, right? But I think he's ready to start over. And I think he will be okay. Okay, Cindy wants to know about her finances. Okay, how will Cindy's finances be? And if you'd like to read for Cindy, go ahead and put her name. Cindy, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Seven of Swords reversed. You're going to have to be careful, Cindy, but you're okay. You'll be okay. Okay, TK, my biometrics got accepted by Canada. I have exactly 5 months left. That means 5 months left in the U.S. How will the remaining 5 months be? If you'd like to read for TK, go ahead and put his name, TK. The name of the card you got and your interpretation. TK's final 5 months in the United States, in Florida. How will it be? Again, the Page of Cups reversed. And, we've had a lot of pages here. For this question, my interpretation is it's going to be bittersweet because you have made friends. You have people who care about you, people that you care about, and it's going to be hard to say goodbye. Okay, let's see. Lots of readings happen. Okay, for Laura Dominguez, on disability for a few weeks, do I need to worry about finances? Okay, so if you'd like to read for Laura, go ahead, put her name, the name of the card you got, your interpretation. She's on disability for a few weeks. How's it going to be financially? Four of Pentacles reversed. I think there'll be people around you who are generous and helpful. And I think it'll be just fine. I'm so sorry you're on disability, but do not worry. I think it will be fine. Okay, Christine Claire. Okay, Christine, I would love to know why I don't seem to connect that much with Colombia and how I can improve this if possible. Okay, let's take a look. If you would like to read for Christine Claire, go ahead and put her name, Christine Claire, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. King of Pentacles reversed. I feel like there's something you need to be doing there to be more of a leader, that you need to present yourself as more of a leader. See what other people have to say. Hey, Kim Bonk, nice to see you here. Okay, Marion, What does the universe want Marion to know? And we have about 12 minutes left here. So we still have time for more readings. Keep it going. I see lots of people doing great readings here. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. For Marion, if you'd like to read for Marion, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Okay, what does the universe want Marion to know? Eight of Pentacles, you will have a job soon. Keep working on all the things you're working on. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Serena Fox, nice to see you. Okay, Joey. Will my wife and I save our marriage together? Will she ever be able to forgive me for my mistakes? So we're doing a single question, but I think these two questions do kind of align with each other, with the assumption that if she can forgive him, the marriage will work, perhaps. So let's take a look. If you'd like to read for Joey, go ahead and put his name, Joey, Joey. The name of the card you got. Hey, Cheryl, nice to see you. The name of the card you got and your interpretation. Seven of Cups. You know, everything is possible, but I think we have to recognize that it's more than one thing going on here. It's not like, okay, your wife has to forgive you and then everything's going to be fine. There are so many pieces to this puzzle, Joey. And both of you need to grow in your understanding and your communication for this to be able to work. Okay. Lots of great readings. Okay, Tina Marie, I got the Lover's card and the Devil card. Why? Okay, I need more information on that. Were you reading for yourself? Were you reading for someone else? Was there a particular question? I need more information to be able to answer that, but I will say this. The Lovers and the Devil are very much connected because they are both the number 6. Because Lovers is card 6 and Devil is card 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. So there is a real connection between those two cards. And I would have to say, you know, if someone said to me, and maybe this is what you're saying to me, Tina, that, you know, you randomly get those two cards together in a reading, what might it say? It can have a lot to do with your decisions, with what you are attaching yourself to, with what you are choosing in your life, especially perhaps having to do with relationships. Okay. Okay. Hey, Carol, nice to see you. Okay, Kimberly Bonk. Okay, so we have two Kimberlys here. This is Kimberly Bonk, not Kimberly Essex. We've already done Kimberly Essex. Okay. So you know what? Let's call it Kimberly Bonk Kim, K-I-M. Concerned about the health of my brother and a friend that had a stroke, both named Mike. So she has two people named Mike in her life, and both are going through a tough time. Is my worry justified? So now this is hard with a single card because it will be hard to determine whether it's worry for both or one or the other. But let's take a look and see what we got. If you'd like to read for her, go ahead and put her name, Kim, K-I-M, the name of the card you drew, and your interpretation. 7 of Cups again, and I shuffled. So here you have to, I feel like you don't know all the facts. And you could let your imagination run away with you more than you should. So it's not to say that your worry is not justified, but there's more that you need to know about each situation. Okay, Lee, nice to see you. Okay. Hey, Missy. Here is a question from Missy. If you would like to read for Missy, go ahead and put her name, Missy, M-I-S-S-I-E, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Here's the question. Will everything go well with the house we are trying to buy? And congratulations on that. I know it's not easy. The Fool. I think you just have to go forward and don't worry too much. I think it'll be fine. Okay, let's see what we have next. Lots of great readings going on here. Miguelina is doing readings. Very good. Okay. Let's see. Looking for more questions, more readings happening. Okay, here's a question from Miguelina. Can I trust my friend? They only seem to come around when they want something from me. Am I being paranoid or is my hunch correct? Okay, if you would like to read for Miguelina, put her name. Miguelina, Miguelina. The name of the card you got and your interpretation. So what do we say? Is this a true friend? Or is this friend just a user? What do we see? 10 of Cups reversed. I would be careful here. This may be what they call a fair weather friend. Okay, very good. Lots of good readings. And if you're giving readings, also go through and read because people are coming back with feedback, with gratitude. So thank you all so much for that. Okay. Okay, for Susan. What do I need to know about my new inspiration and direction for my business? If you would like to read for Susan, hey Jay, nice to see you here doing readings. If you would like to read for Susan, go ahead and put her name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What does Susan need to know about her new inspiration and direction for her business? King of Swords reversed. So I feel like there is something there that you have not yet figured out. It could have to do with communication. It could have to do with technology. There could also be a person in your life who is not helpful in this process. And so there is something you're going to have to be careful with. So look for unhelpful people, details that you haven't figured out, and technology issues. Okay, very good. I see Carol doing readings. Very good. Okay. Jean Marie, nice to see you here. And let's see, lots of readings going on. Okay, for Barbara, my old friend Barbara. Again, you're not old, but I've known you for a long time. Is the direction I'm heading in trying to increase my income the right one? If not, where should I be looking? Okay, if you'd like to read for Barbara, and this is going to be one of our last questions before we shift gears and go into tarot study mode. So, if you'd like to read for Barbara, go ahead and put her name, Barbara, the name of the card you got, your interpretation. Will this direction increase her income? If not, what direction should she be heading? What can she do to increase her income? The Six of Swords reversed. So this may be an uphill battle. You may need to rethink things a little bit, Barbara. The idea here is you want to be logical, not emotional. Let's see what else people have to say. Okay, very good. Pam, so great to see you doing readings. Christine, Claire, Kimberly, Suzanne, Kristen, Susan, TK. So many people doing readings. It's so great. Here's Leisha. What does the universe want Leisha to know? If you would like to read for Leisha, go ahead and put his name, Leisha. The name of the card you got, your interpretation. What does the universe want Leisha to know? Five of Swords. Fight for what you want. Pick and choose your battles, but fight for what you want. Okay, lots of readings going on. And again, we're getting ready to shift gears. Just looking for any final questions. And again, if we're reading for you, by all means, keep Keep reading. There's lots of great stuff, lots of great wisdom here. You know, the majority of the wisdom in this global tarot circle does not come from me. It comes from all the great people here. All right, very good. Kimberly mentions to Tina's question, I used to get the Lovers and the Devil card together all the time. Okay, very good. Lots of great questions. Okay, let's have this be our final question. This is for VJ. VIJAY. I want to know when I can rejoin with my wife. If you'd like to read for VJ, go ahead and put his name, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do we see about a reunion for him and his wife? Page of Swords, I actually think it will happen soon, and there will be communication about that to make that happen. Okay, I am just scrolling on down here. Readings for Miguelina. Okay, very good. Okay, cool. Now, let us switch gears. If you're finishing up readings, go ahead and finish them. If we're reading for you, keep reading down to get your reading and go ahead and respond to it. But let's move over into the workshop portion of our time together. So if you are not a member of the Global Tarot Circle group on Facebook, please do join. What I do there is right before our monthly meeting, I'll ask people, what is it you'd like to talk about? And I make a list of things we want to talk about. Now, some people message me privately. Some people will put it right in the comments. And that really determines what we talk about in this second half of our time together. So, the first thing we want to talk about, and it's already come up in our conversation today, is about COVID-19, the coronavirus, and, you know, in general, the question about reading for world events. And it's an interesting question because, you know, show of hands, as we sort of see this new virus spreading over the planet, recognizing that it's not as deadly as the flu, but it does seem to be very contagious, seems to be spreading. It's a new thing. We don't know how it's spread. It's concerning. And, you know, how many of us, show of hands, have actually done readings about this? Of course I have. I'm sure you have too. And I've also had clients calling me asking about it. And here's the other thing. You know, of course I've read about it. I've got a conference coming up. And in fact, this weekend is NEWTS, the Northwest Tarot Symposium, happening in Portland, Oregon. And they are going ahead as scheduled. StarCon will go ahead as scheduled. I assume Reader Studio will go ahead as scheduled as well. But, you know, there are concerns here. And so let me share with you what my thoughts are. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you read on this? What are your thoughts? And do you think, you know, if you happen to be a person who is overly nervous about these things, that will in some way influence your interpretation, influence your readings? TK says, I have done, and we have to wait till March to get rid of and reduce the effect of coronavirus. It will be powerless when summer starts. That's what I thought too, to be honest with you. I absolutely agree with that. Kimberly Essex says, my tarot meetup had the Three of Swords for the month of March. One of them reached out to me to express thoughts about connection to the virus. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, my thoughts, both in the readings I've done for myself about it and the readings I've done for clients, is, I mean, it's going to be a pain in the butt. And if it happens to kill someone you care about, even if the death toll is very small, if it happens to take someone you care about, it's going to be devastating, of course. But I think when we look at the numbers, I don't think it's going to be horrible. I think there will be some disruption in the supply chain for certain things in certain places over time. I agree with TK. I think by the summer it's going to be pretty much dealt with. I think there will be a vaccination available relatively soon, within a couple of years. I do think it's something that's going to be with us. Like we haven't really talked about SARS in a long time, but I think this one, COVID-19, is going to be like H1N1. It's going to be just something that's with us. That's what I think. Marion says, I've not read the cards on it. I'm convinced that some government somewhere has a vaccine for it. Okay, very good. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. But my larger question is, when we talk about reading on major world events, like when North Korea bristles, do we read about that? How do we read about that? And how do we keep our own fears from getting into that? And do you have clients reaching out to you? I mean, that is something that happens for me quite a bit, is people will reach out to talk about these things. And I do have to say this too. I read for a lot of people. This is my full-time job. This is my office. I'm here every day doing readings. And I read for people all over the world. And I have to say, I think that if there were going to be some major catastrophe that affected many of us, it would start to show up in people's cards. I would see it. I think I would notice the pattern, because I do notice patterns. I can see the effects of Mercury retrograde in so many people. I can see the effects of different societal things in so many people. So that's a question for you too. For those of you who read for a lot of people, do you see common themes that emerge, either having to do with astrology or what's going on the planet? Do you see evidence of culture shifting, of concerns? And do you think if there were going to be a major catastrophe, if we would see it? Those are my questions to you. Now let's talk about, hey, Lynette, nice to see you. Let's talk about, how do we do these things? How do we make these kinds of predictions? How do we do these kinds of readings? And how do we get out of our own way? I think a lot of it has to do with your own focus, to get away from your place of fear. And I think you have to really phrase a series of questions and pull cards for each question. Susan says, most of my intuitive experiences with world events come up unbidden, apart from the cards. That's an interesting thing. Serena, who is a professional reader, I have not seen this theme in my readings. Right, exactly. I've seen people's concern and anxiety about it, but I haven't seen, oh my gosh, everyone is going to die, or we're going to be quarantined for months and run out of food, or I haven't seen any of that. Now, that thing about sort of world events coming up intuitively and unbidden, I think that happens to a lot of us. I think for me, I tend to see more in terms of my own life or the life of people I know versus the larger world. And I think so often when we talk about world events, that has so much to do with perspective. What is a good thing for the world and what is a bad thing for the world? We don't all agree on that. And so, how does our perspective shape the way we look at those things? So I'm interested in hearing your comments about that, or more specifically, reading your comments on that. Go ahead and comment if you have anything else to say. Okay, so there were a couple of things that came up in the list. Hey, Mary Brown, nice to see you here. Yes, I see common themes all the time, but have not seen this one come up yet. Hope I don't. And I do think we would see it if it affects a large amount of people. Absolutely. Robin says, you're rocking the bandana. Yeah, man, that's like my Mercury retrograde thing. I keeping my brains inside my head. I swear to goodness, this is a hard Mercury retrograde. I don't know if you guys are feeling that or not, but I sure am. So thank you for that. Serena, I have seen more a theme of pause and calm, retreat from engagement and drama. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people wanting that and needing that. Okay, so a couple of things. For Lisa, I don't know if she's here or not. How about discussing when it's time to stop reading for yourself and get another reader's objective view? Is it possible to lie to yourself in a reading? And how do you know to go to someone else? Oh, VJ, thank you for that. So that's a great question. How often those of us who read for ourselves, I know that we often go to other readers because a lot of pro readers will come to me for readings, so I know it happens. At what point is it time to do that? And do we lie to ourselves in readings? I think it's easy to lie to yourself in a reading. If you're an anxious person, you may interpret the reading in a negative way. If you're an overly positive person, you'll interpret the reading in an overly positive way. I think getting out of your own way, stepping aside from yourself to do a reading for yourself or for others, it's so important to have a process for that. But I think whenever you are grappling with something large, getting another opinion is a great idea, even if it's just to confirm what you already know. So I would love to hear your ideas on that. Serena says, I always go to others if I'm really serious about my question. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Kathy Elaine wanted to know about numerology and how the numbers on the minors tell a progressive story. So, okay, I'm going to defer that one because, shameless self-promotion, Sunday, 10:30 a.m. on my YouTube channel, Christiana Gaudet, I am doing an hour-long webinar. It's free. Join me there, called Making Friends with the Suit of Sorts. And part of what we'll be talking about is the numerology in the suit. And that will help you with all of the suits. And I am doing a free webinar on YouTube once a month. So this is something we're going to be covering in depth over time. Serena says, I can't get out of my own way on average. It is my own head when it's me. Mary says, when I need a second opinion, I go to a different divination method like astrology or numerology. Very good. Marion, one sure sign for me that I need a reading from someone else is when I ask the same question more than once. Brilliant. Yes, 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 yes. Kristen, I do most of my own readings, but I do get second opinions on major things. Susan, I think it's easier to mislead yourself if you're asking a yes or no question versus an open-ended one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, those were some really good insights. I appreciate that. Okay, so the next question comes from Susan, and it is specifically for the pros here. When I think we have a lot of professional readers here. Reading tarot for fundraising events, helping the cause while still feeding your family. In my experience, working for free typically does not translate into paying clients later on. But once the word gets around, one gets bombarded to do more unpaid events. Is it fair to offer your services as a crowd attraction free of charge to the organization while donating a sizable percentage, say 50%, to the cause? I already make monthly donations to several animal environmental charities online, but I simply can't afford to work for free for all the local organizations. Some seem offended at the idea that I'd receive any pay at all and ask instead for free gift certificates for their auctions and gift baskets. What's a well-meaning tarot reader to do? How to balance charitable giving with the reality of bill paying. Interesting stuff. I can absolutely speak to that. Let me just see what we got in the comments. Kathy says, awesome. A recent retirement combined with Mercury retrograde has me ungrounded and spacey. Headband. Try a headband. It helps. David, I just drew a card about COVID-19. Page of Wands reversed. There are those who enjoy or profit from the dissemination of bad news. Keeping us in a panic mode seems to sell. I see it as the hurricane coverage here in South Florida. True that. So I used to work in radio. I started as a radio psychic and then ended up being like the morning girl on the morning show in a couple of different stations. And we would make, this was up north, so we had snow. We would make the snow reports worse than they were to get more listenership. It's all about the ratings. True story. Okay. VJ, I'm from India and the sun is just rising here. Thanks, Christiana, for giving such a positive reading, and my sincere thanks to all the tarot readers. Beautiful. Thank you. Kimberly, I've started using my pendulum to confirm if I am understanding the reading correctly. That's back to our earlier topic. Very, very good. When I'm concerned my bias may be a factor. You know what? Sometimes when I'm reading for someone else, I'll just hold the pendulum. And as long as it's swinging the right way, I know I'm on track. And if I get off track, the pendulum will swing differently. That's a good way to go. Joanne, it can sometimes be hard to read your own cards when any card can be interpreted in so many different ways. It's easy to read it the way you want it to be. That's true. Okay, so let's go back to Susan's question about charity work. So I do a lot of charity work. I have all of my career. I think that giving a gift certificate for an auction or a gift basket is always a good idea. I really do. I'm pretty happy to give them away for most causes. Now, as far as your time, number one, it has to be a cause you believe in. Number two, there has to be promotional consideration. Hey, Michael Wells, nice to see you. I love you. Glad to see you. I know you've been through a lot recently. You've been in my heart and in my prayers. Love you. So, if I'm going to do a gig for free, my name better be mentioned on the radio or my name better be mentioned in the print ad. There has to be promotional consideration. The next thing is that it doesn't translate to paying customers. I have a hard time understanding that, because if you're in a situation and you're going to read for I used to do a lot of Relay for Life. I would read for 50 people in the afternoon and I would certainly get calls. Now, here's the thing. I tend to just be there as an attraction and read for free. I don't tend to collect money and give it. If I'm there to draw, and I'm donating my time. I did one for Alzheimer's recently, where I read for free and they collected money for each reading. So I have done that, but I don't want to touch the money. If that's it, I don't want to touch the money. You sell the tickets. I don't want to touch it. So the thing is, I think that if you're not getting return calls from that, you have to look at what your reading style is in that. Because essentially what you're doing is giving a free sample. So a free sample has to be absolutely delicious, but you have to leave them hungry for more. Now, you don't want to do that in a cheesy way, like, oh, I see a terrible thing, but our time is up. You'll have to call me to hear about it. Don't be a dick. But find a way, for instance, man, if we had more time, I would love the opportunity to talk about your daughter's educational direction, that kind of thing. So give them an idea. If you were to come to my office or if you were to call me for a reading, these are the things we would talk about. And that sometimes helps convert those people to clients. So let's see, back to COVID-19 from Mary Brown. I drew a card on whether China will ban wildlife trade permanently because of COVID-19 and got the justice card. Hallelujah. Susan, I think what happens is often the crowd is not necessarily my ideal clients. And so that's something you want to think about too, if you work with a particular demographic. Now, I have found that a lot of times you can just work with the general public, and if you can hit them hard enough, giving them hard-hitting readings, having them leave your table with their jaw open, they'll become your crowd. I think different readers have different things. Some readers really do have a demographic they prefer, and that's who they want to work with. And so you want to take that into consideration if that's how you are. I like a challenge. I will do all kinds of interesting groups. I do college groups. I do senior citizens. I do all kinds of groups. And my whole thing is, how can I amaze you to the point that you will now believe in what I do? So not everyone wants to work that way. But that's what I'll ask. That's what I ask the universe for when I go into one of these gigs is, Whatever the reading is, whatever the question is, let me speak truth to these people, not only in a way that helps them, but in a way that helps them see what a reading with me can do for them. And that's my prayer, and that tends to open up the energy. So try that. Kimberly, one of the benefits I get from reading for myself is that I find myself getting downloads of information that don't have anything to do with the cards. I'll sometimes just suddenly know something I need to know, which proves to be correct. It seems working with the cards opens up a channel for this. Yes, 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 yes. Working with the cards will make you more psychic in general. Abso-freaking-lutely. Thank you for saying that. I don't get this from a reading with, okay. I assume don't get this from a reading with other people. Eventually you might start to. Okay, Marion, I'll do charity events and state it's a taster reading. I get quite a lot of repeat clients. Yeah, man, it's all about sampling. Okay, so let's go on. Irene wanted to know about couples, reading for couples. So we actually talked about that last month in honor of Valentine's Day. But we can talk about that very, very quickly. And my two favorite spreads for couples, one is a 2-card spread, one is a 3-card spread. So my thing is simply to pull, okay, say John and Mary are in a relationship. What's going on with them? Pull one card for John, one card for Mary. Look at the 2 cards together. You can see their interaction. That simple. The other is 3 cards. So John's here, Mary's on the other side. The card in the middle is the relationship. So that's how I do it. If you have other relationship spreads or things you like to do for relationships, go ahead and share them here. And we have one more topic, and this is an interesting one. Specific answers. How you find specific answers with the cards. And we've all had that experience of having a card come up that is so poignant, like Mary Brown just getting the Justice card in regards to the Chinese wildlife trade. You know, that was brilliant. Sometimes the cards are that on point, sometimes they're not. Miguelina, I read the same way for couples, but I may also add other cards for clarity. Absolutely same. Michael, I split the deck and have each person shuffle one half and then combine them. Oh, I love that. What a good energy. That is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so getting those specific answers. You know, here's the thing. Very often, what's a good question for a specific answer? What should I be when I grow up? What would be a great career? Okay, say I'm not reading for myself. I know what my career is at this point. But suppose you're reading for someone and we want to know what their career is, and we got the Ace of Cups reversed. What career would you get from that? I would say plumber. You know? Sometimes you can just sort of get something from a card, right? Back to relationship from Jay. Love the 2 and 3 card relationship spread. Simple and informative. Yeah, absolutely. So much information in a few cards. Now, more about specific information. If you're choosing between things, you know, should I go to Hollywood? Should I go to Denver? Or should I go to Burlington, Vermont? What I would do is pull one card for each and see if one card is just more positive, if I like one card more, and just sort of look at how you feel about the cards, how you react to the cards in the moment. I think so often the information that we get from the cards has everything to do with our reaction to them in the moment. Okay, Kathy, Ace of Cups reversed, a couples therapist, family therapist, very good. Could also be a heart surgeon, you know, whatever you're feeling in that moment. Kim Essex, when reading for couples, I have one of them make 3 piles and the other choose one of them. Very nice. I like that. I like that. So how do you get specific answers? And I think that there can be a tendency amongst tarot readers to get really kind of hairy-fairy with the cards and to really look at the spiritual messages of the cards. And that can be super duper important. But we live in the material world and we have to be able to find material answers in the cards. So I think it's also important to have a sense of mundane interpretations for the cards. Okay, Christiana, what career could the Wheel of Fortune mean? Or could it mean a sales job? Okay, so Wheel of Fortune, working at a casino. Certainly could be sales. Certainly could be, what else could the Wheel of Fortune be for a career? I suppose anything, the stock market, anything where, could go this way, could go that way. Anything that involves sort of prognostication of the future, maybe meteorology, perhaps. What do you guys think? And when we talk about mundane meanings for the cards, stock market, that's where I was going too. Absolutely. Wheel of Fortune working stock market. Absolutely. Makes sense. So I think it's a really good exercise to be able to find spiritual meanings, personal growth meanings, but also mundane meanings. I read Lucky Driver, right, Wheel of Fortune. Oh, how interesting. Someone in transportation. Barbara, something of a cyclic nature. Sure. Wheel of Fortune, I work in a bicycle shop. Pam Hartley says financial advisor. Absolutely. These are all good ideas. So, sometimes you have to look at the pictures. Sometimes you have to look at how you react to the cards. Sometimes you have to say it in your heart and see if it feels like truth before you say it to your client. Susan says Wheel of Fortune could be seasonal work. Absolutely. Joanne, professional gambler. There are people who do the poker circuit for a living. It's true. Absolutely. So how do we get specific answers? If it's an either or, a choosing thing, pull one card for each choice and see how you feel about the cards. Because each card can mean so many things depending on the moment, and in that oracular moment can mean anything, really. Vetting the answer against what feels like truth to you, or against the pendulum, as Kimberly Essex said, is a very good idea. Now, sometimes if you're really not sure and you're working with a client, it is often a good idea to say, it could be this, or this, and see what makes sense. Joanne says racehorse owner for the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, that makes sense too. So we actually got through the list here. I noticed that no one else commented on the charity stuff, really. And I know, Joanne, you've done charity stuff with me. And Joanne says, actually, any kind of racing. Yeah, sure. Wheel of Fortune, any kind of racing. So I do have to say that I feel like doing the charity stuff for me has been very successful. And I would say if you're having a hard time finding a way to make it successful, it may not be about stopping doing charity. It's about doing it a different way. Okay, Mary, I do group readings at the local fair trade store for free. People leave donations to keep the store open. It's a great promotion for my readings. I love that. We have fun. People just raise their hand and ask burning questions. I just use my standard 5-card star spread. But yes, specific mundane meanings of the cards is vital. Let the cards speak to the question. Absolutely. Joanne says, I love the charity part of reading. Yeah, we used to do this thing for the teachers' night out once a year. That was so much fun. Kathy, how do you get your name out for charity? That's a really interesting question. People just sort of reach out. I think it comes a lot from clients, where a particular client will ask a question about, I'm doing this for this, how's it going to go? And I'll say, Oh, well, if you want a tarot reader as part of that. Joanne says, I was scared to death the first time at the beach, but loved it after that. Yeah, we had fun. And the thing is, once you do one charity event, other ones will come knocking at your door. That is absolutely true. Okay, you guys, we are at the end of our time together. We have just 2 more minutes, and so you know what that means. It's time for shameless self-promotion. Now is the time to drop the link to your website. Kathy says, I'm in the middle of Kentucky. It's very religious. I've had good luck even in sort of very Bible belty areas. I've had good luck. It all depends who you talk to. Okay, go ahead and drop your links. Do you have a class, a book, a website, a Facebook page? What would you like to share with us? Do you have a meetup? Go ahead and drop it in the links. I'm going to give you my shameless self-promotion verbally. First of all, this Sunday, as I said before, on my YouTube channel, Christiana Gaudette, go there and subscribe. Making Friends with the Suit of Swords, that's 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a free hour-long workshop. I hope to see you there. If you're not a member of the Global Tarot Circle group on Facebook, please do ask to join. I am available to you by phone, Skype, FaceTime, Messenger, or here in my Palm City office for readings and also tarot mentorship and StarCon. This will be a conference January 22nd through 24th, 2021 in Palm Beach Gardens. Go to starcon.com. It's spelled STAARCON. You can also join the StarCon group on Facebook. Registration will be opening soon. Okay. Let's see what we've got going on here. Kathy, Intuitives and Psychics of Lexington meetup. Tarot once a month. Hey, very good, very good. Kim Bonk, so great to see you here. Susan, Suzanne, Serena, magicoma.com. Some great blog posts I've been seeing from you, Serena. Marion said, I did a charity event in a church hall. Yeah, I've done that too. Absolutely, absolutely. Alrighty, you guys. Thank you so much. With your clock change, does that mean it will be an hour later in the UK? That is a great question, but probably yes. So make sure you check your time converter for that day because it is daylight savings time. You're absolutely right. Thanks for remembering that. That's very good. Okay, Michael has dropped his readings by Michael, and Michael is a good reader. He came and read at our holiday open house, and that was awesome. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. I will see you next month. If we're not friends on Facebook, why not? If you haven't hit like on my Facebook page where we are right now, Christiana Gaudette, why not? Great to see you all. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon. Have a great night.